What's good, everybody? It's your man Big Dom back at you. Another True Players podcast episode with a very special episode tonight, Friday night, as we discuss the new head coach of the New York Jets, a guy that we all Jets fans know all very well. Well, whether it's been the fake spike or many interceptions for touchdowns, this guy has been through it all with the New York Jets. A 1-15 season. Then rebounded, having 97 season with Bill Parcells as his head coach, and then having an appearance in the AFC Championship game against the Denver Broncos in 1998. A three-time All Pro cornerback with the New York Jets. Spent 8 years with the New York Jets, and we lost him due to the expansion draft when the Houston Texans came back into the league. All right. Please, everyone, allow me to welcome Aaron back home to the New York Jets as head coach. He wasn't my first choice. I'm going to be honest with you guys. He was not my first choice. My first choice was, Vrabel, but Vrabel used us as always and went back home to the Patriots. My next choice was Rex Ryan and then Brian Flores. But, I'm actually extremely happy with this pick as head coach. Extremely happy. This guy understands Jetland. He understands the Jet universe. He understands the Jet fans. So so you already guys know. He's not coming here half-stepping on anything as head coach. He knows the deal. He knows this guy has been in the New York Jets since they practiced at Hofstra. You know what I'm saying? So. Very tough, 5'9" cornerback who could tackle. Was a guy that followed the best receiver. Well, he didn't have to follow the best receiver because he was next to Marcus Coleman on the other side. So both guys did a hell of a job stopping people. In my opinion, that tandem of Marcus Coleman and Aaron Glenn is a 1A to Darrelle Revis and Antonio Cromartie as a cornerback tandems. So I'm very excited. I can't wait to see his press conference. He's gotten a lot of great reviews, got great support from Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells is excited about the signing. A lot of former teammates, Ray Mickens, Victor Green. Hopefully he'll hire one of those guys to be on his coaching staff and help with secondary. But this is what you give Aaron Glenn. You get a guy who's a gritty guy. Who's a former player, who's been in the trenches. The current players actually rooted for him to be hired. Was Jermaine Johnson, guys like that. Was Quinn and Williams, the Williams brothers, also was rooted for him to get the job. It kind of fell into our lap that he was able to get hired this early because we all assumed we were going to see the Lions in the NFC championship game this week. Okay. However, we'll talk about that a little later. We're going to see the Eagles and the Commanders. And while everyone is announcing that we have a new GM, we don't have a new GM yet. It has not been confirmed. No one has been hired as of yet. Okay, everyone's talking about this guy Doug Moogie from Denver, and he was part of that trade that got Russell Wilson to Denver. I don't want him on the team. I don't want that GM. Give me Lance Newmark from the Commanders. It's just a GM, a guy who has some ties to Aaron Glenn from back in the Saints organization. Someone like that to work in conjunction with the new head coach Aaron Glenn. Okay. Now the key is as everything we have fans complaining. Oh, we did the same thing again. We had another rookie head coach, defensive coordinator. We need an offensive mind coach. We had an offensive mind coach, Adam Gase. Remember that. And how did that turn out? Heavily recruited and by Peyton Manning gave his co-assignment on Adam Gase. And look what happened. A disaster. Past 2 years, utter disaster with him. So I wanted an experienced head coach myself. But you know what? I'm glad we got somebody who understands Jet universe. And Aaron Glenn, number 31, who should be in the Ring of Honor. I don't know why he's not in the Ring of Honor. Maybe he should be in the Ring of Honor this year. Put him in the Ring of Honor this year. He deserves it. 24 interceptions as a New York Jet. Which cornerback have we had who had that many interceptions as a New York Jet? Not even Darrelle Revis could tout that. And Darrelle Revis is the best cornerback the Jets ever had. But he can't say that. I seen another show, I believe it was on SNY. Someone said that Aaron Glenn was Darrelle Revis before Darrelle Revis. Cornerbacks who could cover the best receiver and tackle. And I'm excited for his hiring for this reason. Ahmad Gardner, I will not call him Sauce Gardner, had a down season this season. Two-time All Pro. You know, two-time All Pro cornerback. Had a down year this year. Maybe having Aaron Glenn in the building could get him back to his All Pro status. And maybe we could go back to call him Sauce again. But for now, he's Ahmad Gardner. Okay? You could tell him I said that. Go ahead and tell him I said that. He's Ahmad Gardner. And Aaron Glenn's coming into a very tough situation. He doesn't know who his quarterback is going to be. There's some rumors that I've heard through Facebook and whatever other platforms out there, which I don't trust. I don't like Sportskeeda. I don't like Newsweek or some crap like that. I don't like those guys. Those guys are not credible. I don't care. They sign their name on the damn article. They're not credible to me. A lot of buffoonery going on there. But that Aaron Glenn possibly may be enticed to bring back Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback. I want to know what that looks like as far as dynamics. Aaron Glenn being a former player, he's a feisty player. He's not going to back down to Aaron Rodgers. He's not going to bend the knee to Aaron Rodgers' will. We know we already know that already. So it's going to be, if he does keep Aaron Rodgers, he's going to know that Aaron Rodgers is going to know that Aaron Glenn is the boss, not him. So he has to be a good soldier. If they do keep him as a Jets quarterback, he has to be a good soldier for the team, and hopefully he'll ride off into the sunset as a Super Bowl champion. Because this team roster wise is ready to rock and roll. Aaron Glenn walks into a top 10 defense. I know it did not look like it last year, but stats says they still are a top 10 defense. I didn't see it, but stats say otherwise. Now all the fans are concerned about who is he going to hire as offensive coordinator. I've heard different names. Markbrunell, former All-Pro quarterback for the Jaguars. Possibly good old Todd Haley, tight ends coach with the Jets under Bill Parcells, head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, who went to the Super Bowl with Kurt Warner. How about Josh McCown as offensive coordinator of the New York Jets? That's something enticing to think about there. But as you guys know, my pick has always been Chad Pennington. But Chad Pennington is not interested in coaching in the pros. He's been documented that he's not interested. He's happy being a high school coach. Okay. It would be nice. It would have been a dream come true to have Chad Pennington as offensive coordinator, or even head coach. But right now, we got the head coach we need, and Aaron Glenn's the guy we need. A guy who was coached by Bill Parcells, who was an assistant coach under Sean Payton and Dan Campbell. This is the guy we need. We need some Parcells touch on this team, but a futuristic version of Bill Parcells, one that's not as hard-nosed as him, but as far as communication with the players, but a guy who's just as hard-nosed and demands accountability from his players. That's something that has been lacking through this Jet team for the past couple of years. Accountability has been lacking in this Jet organization from top to bottom. Now you got a coach here that's going to demand it. He's going to demand the accountability from every one of those 53 players. A lot of guys applauding. Bart Scott applauded the deal. Willie Colon applauded the hiring. So he has a lot of supporters. Aaron Glenn does. But the key part is, which I can't wait for his press conferences, what to do at quarterback. What he's going to do as quarterback. He tried to reach out to Mike Westoff, the former special teams coach for the Jets. He reached out to him. I think he got rebuffed. I think he declined to come back as special teams coordinator, but I think it would have been an opportunity for Mike Westoff to come back and be the assistant head coach to Aaron Glenn. I truly believe that. That'd have been a good look for him. Somebody with experience. When the key is, when you're a first-time head coach, it's good to have at least a former head coach on your sidelines to give you some advice and to go about the game. So one thing the Jets have been lacking over the past, I don't know how many years, is time management, clock management. I can't tell you how many times the Jets lost games because of poor clock management. Poor time management as far as the clock goes. How many games they've lost over the past 10 to 15 years? I'm quite sure with Aaron Glenn that's going to change. There's going to be more aggression on the team as far as fourth down goes from his time with Dan Campbell. You watch Dan Campbell do it. So we'll see what happens with Aaron Glenn. I'm anxious to see what type of defense they're going to run, because I believe the Lions ran a 3-4 defense. I believe. I'm not too sure about that, but I believe Aaron Glenn does run a 3-4 defense. Will the Jets go back to being a 3-4 defense? But one thing's for sure, we ain't going to see that bullshit cover 3 bullshit. We're going to be straight, man-to-man, mano-a-mano, bump and run coverage. That's what Aaron Glenn was all about. Man-to-man, bump and run, coverage cornerback. We're going to see that come back to the New York Jets this coming season, next coming season. That's what we're going to see. Well, that's what we're going to see. I can't wait to have that coverage back. A lot more blitzing. You got Jermaine Johnson coming back. You got Will McDonald IV on the team. Let the new GM figure out Hassan Reddick. I'm not a fan. I don't think we should resign him. I think you should let him go bye-bye. Let him go bye-bye. Let him go somewhere else. He was disappointing as a Jet. Held out for 8 games. Came back and did absolutely nothing. No impact. But now, here's the dilemma that Aaron Glenn has to face now. Everyone has been telling, there's some people who did not agree with him taking the job because the Jets have no quarterback. But I want to know, when does he have the conversation with Aaron Rodgers? And what happens from there? Okay? But in my humble opinion, if the Jets do bring in a guy like Toddhaley to be the offensive coordinator, or Markbrunell as offensive coordinator, or even both of them as part of the offensive staff. Okay? I honestly don't see Aaron Rodgers being here. I really don't. So who will be the quarterback of the Jets for next season? Well, you got one guy on the roster that's already going to be, who has a good chance of being the quarterback of the team next season. That's Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor could be the starting quarterback of the New York Jets, but you definitely going to need a good backup. And you got to develop somebody. You got to draft somebody in the draft. Hopefully, get somebody like a Russell Wilson type in the 3rd round who could possibly go and come in there and start. You never know. You never know what happens with these draft picks. You never know. Okay? Or You sign, Kirk Cousins is going to get cut from the Falcons. That is inevitable. Michael Penix Jr. is going to be the starting quarterback of that team next season. That's highly evident. Don't even worry about it. That's going to happen. Do the Jets now pick up Kirk Cousins to possibly start for them with the new offensive regime? Okay. Another scenario which has been brought up, which I'm thinking about right now, is if the Jets hire Joshua Cowen as offensive coordinator, does that now create the bridge to re-sign, to bring back Sam Darnold? Does that create it? Now, he had 2 bad games to end the season. The Week 18 game and that game in that playoffs where he did not play well. He looked like the Sam Darnold from the New York Jets. And the team played like they were from the New York Jets too, because he was not getting no type of protection. And he looked bewildered and saw ghosts in the playoff game. He really did. But that does not take away from the season he had with the Vikings, winning 14 games, going 14-2. 14-3, I believe, right, guys? 14-3. That does not take away the season that he had. The guy has matured into a steady quarterback now. Do the Jets revisit that as well? Something to think about, guys. Something to think about in this Aaron Glenn's first season as New York Jet head coach. The defense is good. The defense is fine, but we got a big issue at cornerback position. If they let DJ Reed said he wants to go, my advice to DJ Reed is talk to Aaron Glenn first before you make that decision. Talk to Aaron Glenn first before you leave. Otherwise, we're looking at Ahmad Gardner and Brandon Echols as just 2 starting cornerbacks. And Echols has improved over the past couple of years. He really did improve. I think I'm confident with him being on the other side of Ahmad Gardner, under the tutelage of Aaron Glenn. And wouldn't that be something if Aaron Glenn hires Darrelle Revis as a defensive back coach for the New York Jets? Have a whole New York Jets alumni on the coaching staff. I'm kind of interested to see what he's going to bring in as defensive coordinator. The rumor has it has been Steve Wilks as the defensive coordinator for the New York Jets, as defense coordinator for the New York Jets. How about someone like Brian Cox as defense coordinator? Bring some attitude. You need some attitude on that team. Feisty, fighting attitude. Brian Cox would fit that bill. Bring Romeo Crennel as a defensive consultant. He's old. Yeah, I know, guys, he's old. He's in the 70s, late 70s, but you never know. Bring him in as a consultant, defensive consultant. You know what I'm saying? Of course, Aaron Glenn's going to put in his ideas into the defense as well. Make it a team thing to bring back this team to prominence in defense. The only thing I do ask, though, of Aaron Glenn's defense is don't be like the Jets defense that you played on where you had big leads and blew them. And there was times in the Detroit Lions that the Detroit Lions had big leads and almost blew them too. So let's try to eliminate that. I don't want to see that again. I don't want to be teased. Like the 1-15 team that teased me, blowing 20-point leads in nearly half the games they lost. As Bill Parcells said, the best 1-15 team he ever played against, ever coached against. That's not a good. I laugh at it, but that's not a good compliment to have. But like I said, I'm confident in Aaron Glenn. I actually can't wait for his press conference. I think I'll probably do another episode after the press conference, and talk about that. What he got to say. I'm anxious to see that. But I think the Jets, in my opinion, other thing to talk about this guy, Doug Moogie, whatever his name is, from Denver, I don't think he's going to get hired. At least I hope not. The Jets just need to be patient with the assistant GM of the Washington Commanders to go with Aaron Glenn You have a tandem there that actually work with each other in different organizations that will take this team to the top. Okay? The division, you still got Buffalo. And New England just got better with the hiring of Mike Vrabel. And now you're bringing Jeff McDaniels as offensive coordinator to go with Drake May in New England. They're going to be a good team. They're going to be a solid team. Now, I don't like the way how he got the job at the expense of a first-time head coach who happened to be black. Didn't like that at all. It came off as shady. If your intent was to hire Mike Vrabel, why don't you hire him last year? If that was your intent, Robert Kraft, that's where I have a big problem with it. A very big problem about that. Now, before we get into baseball, okay, let's do a little preview of the NFC and AFC Championship games. So the AFC Championship game, Kansas City Chiefs against Buffalo in Kansas City. Buffalo, lucked out of their game against the Baltimore Ravens. Again, it comes playoff time. Lamar Jackson has not been clutch. But he played a little bit better, but he had some bad turnovers during that game. Mark Andrews, you got to catch that ball with the 2-point conversion, my man. You got to catch that ball. It was right in your hands. You got to catch that ball. But nevertheless, I'm actually rooting for Buffalo in this game. As a Jet fan, me rooting for Buffalo is like sacrilege. But I'm honestly tired of watching the Chiefs winning. Last year was Taylor Swift fever. This year is another thing. Refs helping them out and winning games. I don't want to see Kansas City back in the Super Bowl. I really don't. Even though they are beatable, but I don't want to see them in the Super Bowl. I'm actually looking forward to a Philadelphia Eagles, Buffalo Bills Super Bowl. That shit's gonna kill the Giants too because Saquon Barkley, man, oh man, that man deserves an MVP. He transformed the Philadelphia Eagles locker room. And what a great ex-teammate too. More like rubbing salt in the wound to the Giants, where he invited his old teammates in the luxury box in Philadelphia to watch them play against the I'm drawing a blank here. Played against the Rams. Ain't that something? That's salt in the wound, man. If I was a Giants player, I would never accept it. I would never accept that invitation. Even Daniel Jones was in the luxury box. He got cut by the Giants. No, I would never have accepted that invitation. As great of a teammate I believe Saquon Barkley was, I would never accept that invitation. That's salt in the wound. No way. My man was jumping over, hurling people backwards. Ran for 2,000 yards. Almost broke Eric Dickerson's record. Because the Giants didn't want to pay him. Nah, man. I couldn't do that. I could not do that. But let me get to my predictions of the NFC and AFC Championship game. I'm rooting for Buffalo against the Chiefs. But I think the Chiefs are going to pull it out. I just think the Chiefs are just going to pull it out. They have that mojo. They got Patrick Mahomes, the GOAT of this era. He is the Tom Brady of this era. So let's go. I'm going to go with Kansas City. And the NFC is going to be a toss-up because I think Jaden Daniels is a great young quarterback. And he just keeps finding ways to win. He really does. The Commanders are going to be a tough out. Dan Quinn has experience coaching in these games as a head coach. He's been a Super Bowl head coach, so he knows how to win these games. And what I'm seeing from Dan Quinn, he learned from his first time head coach. Learned from the first time. The mistakes that he made as a Falcon coach. He learned it, and he basically resurrected a Washington Commander franchise who has not been to an NFC Championship game since 1991. You believe that? 34 years, right? Ain't that something? But in a close one, got to go with the Eagles. Got to go with the Eagles. But in a big NFC East, NFC Championship game, in a close one, let's go with the Eagles. So there you have it. You're going to have the Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. That's my prediction. My prediction, guys. Oh, let me put the link in the podcast. If you guys would have joined on the podcast, let me do that for you. We like 25 minutes in. I didn't even put that link up. If you guys have any comments, please hit me up. I do look at the comments. Let me know what's up. Your thoughts on this. As we now segue to the New York Mets, which offseason started off great, in my opinion, could end up in a disaster. A very big disaster. Okay? If they don't sign Pete Alonso. In a big disaster. I'm going to tag Steve Cohen in my podcast. I'm going to have to do a trailer to tag him on it and make sure that he watched my podcast. You cannot let Pete Alonso go to the Blue Jays for a 4-year, possibly $100 million contract. It started to look like a Jose Reyes situation. That's what I can compare it to. If you guys remember when Jose Reyes was a free agent before he went to Florida or Miami, what do you want to call it? The Mets never offered him a contract. And Jose Reyes, the only difference is Jose Reyes was coming off winning a batting title. Alonso had a down year on his walk year. Jose Reyes won a batting title on his walk year. Forget about him sitting out the last game. Forget about that shit. The guy had a great season. Swinging that bat. Like Alonso, who came off a down year, was asking for $200 million. His stupid agent is asking for it. Scott Boras. And one thing I learned from Scott Boras over the years, okay? He never has more than one client signed to a team as free agents. If you catch that pattern, he will not bring you two of his clients to the same team. So basically, what the Mets just did was because of Scott Boras, they chose Juan Soto over Pete Alonso. In essence, I am still holding out hope that the Mets could come up with something, a contract that would make sense. I have a contract myself that would make sense. If I was GM, if I was David Stearns, I would offer him this contract. 3 years, $90 million, with a team option, both team and player option for the 4th year. That would make it $120 million. I would not give him no opt-out after 1 year or 2 years because he's not good on walk years. He's not good on that. We already seen it this year. Did he have some big hits in the playoffs? Yes, he did. Did he have some big hits to save the season? Yes, he did. But on a walk year, knowing he's going to be a free agent, he didn't play that well. In the big picture-wise, he did not play well. He didn't slug his way. The guy didn't hit over 40 home runs. He hit 34 this year. And you need this guy to cement this great offseason that you had. Signing Juan Soto. Fill him in that, put Pete Alonso in that lineup with Juan Soto. And still trade for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And still swing that trade. I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't care what the Blue Jays are trying to do as far as keeping Vlad Jr. He does not want to be in Toronto anymore. He wants to be in the big city. You saw his boy Juan Soto get the big contract from the New York Mets. Vlad Jr. wants to be on the New York Mets, in my opinion. He wants to be on the New York Mets. So, but now this is the trade proposal I do have. Trade proposal I do have in order for the Mets to get Vlad Jr. And you guys are not going to like it because I don't like the people I'm going to give up either. Well, one player in particular, because I think he's going to be as good as his brother. Okay, when he gets to playing time. Okay. My ideal trade for Vlad Jr. You trade Jeff McNeil, Starling Marte, Luis Angel Acuna, and Drew Gilbert to the Blue Jays for Vlad Jr. pending contract extension. I will even throw in Jet Williams into that trade, but pending Vlad Jr.'s contract extension with the New York Mets. If that extension does not happen, trade is called off. Or we take back Luis Angel Acuna, and you guys just stick with the trade of Jeff McNeil, Starling Marte, Drew Gilbert, and I'll give you Jet Williams. I'll give you those guys, but you're not going to get Luis Angel Acuna without Vlad Jr. signing an extension with the New York Mets. That has to be part of the trade. Has to be part of the trade. And from there, you keep Pete Alonso. This is my dream scenario. You keep Pete Alonso. You got Vlad Jr. And you got Vientos. All could rotate to the DH at the DH position. All three of those guys should be playing 160 games with that rotation of the DH. Vlad can play some third base. So he can play some third base. So let him put him at third base on occasion. Okay? And then you could put Ronnie Mauricio at second base. Or Luis Angel Acuna at second base. Or you could even re-sign Jose Iglesias to fill in that spot. Oh my God. That'll be a line to compete with the Dodgers. Dodgers are reloading. They got Roki Sasaki. I knew his dumb ass. I know his Japanese. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say that racial. I know he was gonna go to the LA Dodgers to be with his compatriots. I knew that was gonna happen. The minute he say he didn't want to be part of the Yankees or the New York Mets, yeah, we already know the song and dance. He's going to LA. The problem I have with the MLB baseball, right? All these owners complain about Steve Cohen possibly trying to buy the World Series, but here comes the LA Dodgers under everybody's nose buying World Series right now as we speak. The LA Dodgers is doing that right now. Come on. Uncle Steve Cohen, put in that money, re-sign Pete Alonso. Okay? Put in that money. Listen to I'm a fan. But I also know what Pete Alonso could do for the organization, what he can do for the fan base if you re-sign him. I'm not saying this guy could be David Wright material, because David Wright stayed with the Mets. David Wright only played for the Mets his entire career. And that you can't take away from David Wright. Yes, Pete Alonso is a better slugger. As far as better all-around player for the New York Mets, you got to go with David Wright. More clutch. Batted .300 for most of his years as a New York Met. And hit 30 home runs. If it wasn't for the spinal stenosis, who knows where he could have gone? Hell, I'll put it out there. Just the Mets would have won the World Series in 2015 if he didn't have the spinal stenosis. The Packers could have won 2 championships, 2015 and 2016, if he didn't have the spinal stenosis. I'm telling you guys that right now. That's my belief. I'm sticking to it. But news is news. They're saying the Blue Jays is giving a great offer to Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso could not be part of this team anymore. All the talk about him wanting to stay away as a Met, if he signs a contract with the Blue Jays, was all a lie. At least with DeGrom, he was honest. DeGrom was honest with the Mets fans, so that's why I always have a heart. I always have a heart for Jacob DeGrom. He's always honest with us. There's certain things he didn't like in the organization. He had to go. He wants to go. Can't knock him for that. But Pete Alonso, being on TV, being on SNY, being on Channel 4 News of New York, seeing how he loves being a man, he loves the organization, loves this, and this, and this. And then we come down to this. All because you hired an agent who is only looking out for his 5% off your contract signing. He wants the largest portion of 5% he could get. Does not care about your feelings. Does not care about your love for the team. Really doesn't. That fake ass contract rebuttal that he gave was a fake ass rebuttal. We only give opt out to the Mets. Mets offer him three years, 78 million. According to my math, that's what, 23 million, just about. 23 million, some change. Was not 20? Was it 24? Yeah, so 24 and some change a year. Annual average salary. He didn't want that. But he's going to go to the Blue Jays, who have not won nothing since 1993. Be a tease in the regular season and then phase out come playoff time. You're gonna leave a team that went to Game 6 of the NLCS for a team that fades out late in the season. And in Canada, where you're gonna be paying more taxes? That's not a smart business decision, Pete. It really isn't. You should have stuck with your previous agent. Just maybe you would have got the money you wanted in the years that you wanted back in 2023 when they offered you 7 years, $158 million. You would have longevity. What's the word I'm looking for? And see, that's, the age, brother. Age, ladies and gentlemen, the age. Longevity and security. There you go. That's the question. Security. And just maybe you would not have the down year that you had this season because you were so worried about your contract. Just maybe. I'm hoping for a miracle, but New York Mets fans, looks like Pete Alonso is not going to be a Met. That's what it's looking like right now as we speak. The era of Pete Alonso in the New York Mets uniform is over. And all because of his agent, all because of his greed. The Mets, in my opinion, gave that man a fair offer based on his declining production over the past two years. Because a lot of teams chose other players over him. Players that were older than him. Paul Goldschmidt over him. Now, in case that scenario does happen, before I talk about a little bit about Knicks to end the podcast, a few players have been thrown out there. Possibly a guy like Anthony Rizzo, former New York Yankee first baseman, comes in there and plays some first base for the New York Mets. You keep Vientos at third base, play a little bit of Rizzo at the DH spot, go from there. Alex Bregman is still available. That means Vientos goes to first base, Bregman plays third base. Okay. You still got McNeil on the team, which could be a valuable trade chip for either the Vlad Jr. trade, or for a starting pitcher. Pick your poison when it comes to that. Me personally, I would go for Vlad Jr. Because the way you're going to win a World Series in this day in baseball, because the DH is having deep lineups, having players who are a threat from 1 through 9, that's the only way you're going to win a World Series. And timely pitching. Not good pitching, timely pitching. Guys who get the guys out at the right time. Because of the DH. This is the new age baseball right now, ladies and gentlemen. New age. So now, as an end the podcast, I'm going to talk a little bit about New York Knicks. Knicks are playing decent, you know. I still don't like the fact that some fans still picking on the trade of Mikal Bridges, the 5 first-round picks. I hate the fact they're picking on this man. They're treating this man as if he's R.J. Barrett. Don't do that to that man. The man went from a number 1 option in Brooklyn to the 3rd and 4th option with the New York Knicks. You cannot expect him to score 24 points per game being a 3rd or 4th option with the way Brunson dominates the basketball. You can't ask him. It's I'm going to say it's a miracle. It's tough to do that. You know? They're beating Mikal Bridges up, but they don't want to talk about OG Anunoby, whose 3-point shooting has dipped this season. They'll jump on Bridges back, but not on OG Anunoby. Both players are contributing to the team's success. Let's not forget that. But where's the fairness for both players? Because we give up 5 first-round picks. The next 3 years, the Knicks are going to be a perennial second team in the second round. Perennial. So those first-round picks are probably going to be in the late 20s. So while are we sweating first-round picks in the late 20s? We're not giving up a lottery pick. That's how dumb fans are. This is how dumb fans are sometimes. They just say things just to say things. Have some merit behind what you put out there. Have some freaking merit. Don't put out some dumb shit out here in these streets. Twitter, forget it. It's like you got guys like Knicks Nation be putting out some dumb trade proposals. The fuck? Part of my language, I got to talk about this shit. If I could do a podcast on all the dumb trade scenarios that I've seen on Twitter, I'll be on here for 5 hours. I'll be on here for 5 fucking hours talking about that shit. That's why you guys are working 9 to 5, okay? Okay? Not even that. 9 to 5. Some of you are probably low-key unemployed. Matter of fact, you guys probably are all the employed ones, and people like me end up losing their employment for some dumb shit. Or some stupid shit don't get ever explained. But who am I? Logic, when you're a person of logic, they don't want you in the workplace. They do not want you in the workplace. You gotta be a robot. You gotta be a monkey. Yes? Monkey see, monkey jump. Don't say nothing. Be kunta. I can't. Now I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna continue to be me. And to be honest with you, be me, but be me and provide suggestions. That's what you got to do as an employee. But have merit behind everything that you do. Have some type of merit behind that. If I've ever been wrong on the podcast, you guys can email me. You guys can leave comments on the podcast. You guys can do that. I'll respond to it. I'll speak about it. I'll speak to it on the next episode. I got no problems doing that. Just be sure you're watching, and I'm gonna call you out on it too. Tell you to jump on the podcast. Show your face. Got no problems doing that. I'm a man of merit. I stick to my guns. I stick to my beliefs. So, let's keep me motivated. Keep me motivated. Tell your friends about the podcast. Subscribe to my podcast. Follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to my podcast on YouTube, so I keep delivering you more on time every week episodes. I need that motivation, guys. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers by my birthday. By the 7th year anniversary, let's get me to 100 subscribers. Let's do it. Let's do it. We can do this. 100 subscribers by June 28th of 2025, 7th year anniversary of the True Players Podcast. Let's get me there. That's a challenge to my fans. Let's get me there. That's a challenge. So, guys, on that note, we're going to end the podcast right now. Hopefully, when I come back, we get to see the press conference of Aaron Glenn, as well as recapping both NFC and AFC Championship games, and also preview the Super Bowl that's going to happen in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from this Sunday. That's what I'm looking forward to doing next coming Monday or Tuesday, but better Tuesday for that episode, and we go from there. And hopefully, hopefully, Mets fans will get great news this week. The Jets will sign Lance Newmark as their GM. Hopefully, knock on the table, knock on wood, and we can smile about what's coming up soon. Pitches and catches 2 weeks away. Baseball season is about to start. Can't wait. Like the words of Bart Scott, can't wait. So definitely subscribe to my podcast on YouTube at True Players Podcast. Follow me on Instagram at True Players Podcast. You know the support that I can get. Also, the audio version will be on Spotify. Follow me on Spotify as well. You know what I'm saying? Follow me on that as well. Spotify at True Players Podcast. Any complaints, any feedback from the podcast, I welcome that. I really do. I really welcome that from you guys. So my email address, I'm going to put my email address on the comment section. Any feedback, please let me know. If you want to be on the show, let me know. We're about to expand. True Players Podcast. That's part of the reason why I've been low key the past couple of weeks. Been low key, of course, with health issues. You know, getting old and having ankle pains for no reason. Been low key. I'm surprised I made it through the podcast without choking, because my throat been bothering me for the past 2 days. I'm surprised I made it through the podcast without doing that, but blessed be to God, you know. Yes, sir. So my email address is in the podcast. Feel free to email me. Make sure you're professional and clean on the goddamn email for the feedbacks. Otherwise, I'll just block you. I ain't got time for that BS. Be professional. Have some merit. That's what the True Players Podcast is all about. It's not about having the news out there first. So on that note, guys, I'm signing off on the True Players Podcast. We wish my bro, my co-host, Joey G, happy birthday. His birthday was 2 days ago. Wish him a happy birthday. And enjoy the games this week, guys. Like I said, hopefully we get good news. Mets sign Pete Alonso. I'm putting that in the air. Mets will sign Pete Alonso. 3 years, $90 million with the option of fourth year. Let's make it happen. Let's do this. Get to build this Mets lineup, a deep Mets lineup. On that note, everyone, have a great night. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the games. Peace.